I hope your summer season is off to a good start. Summer means long course, but I still get one more short course meet in just a few weeks here at Masters Nationals. If you are at that meet, please come say hi. Would love to talk to you. And I'm swimming off events, and I'm super excited about it because I get to do stuff like the 100 IM, relays. I never get to do this stuff, and so I'm really pumped. It's always good to mix it up, and as much as I love breaststroke, don't get me wrong, it is good to mix things up and do other strokes, especially ones like butterfly that are complementary to breaststroke. So I am super excited, if you can't tell. This is my third week of the new training cycle that I'm in. So I'm not really concerned with Masters Nationals as like a shave and taper meet, obviously since I'm doing off events. And right now I am just working on general fitness, aerobic, yardage, doing a lot of fly, and which is complementary to breaststroke, so it's all good, and some IM work. But I wanted to talk to you about DPS. I get a lot of questions about, what's this DPS thing? And how you do it, because I do it very differently. Normally, DPS is like just taking a couple strokes off, right? You get DPS in a set, and if you're doing freestyle, you might shave 3 or 4 strokes off. Or if you're doing breaststroke, you might shave 2 or 3 strokes off. My way is totally different, and I call it DPS, but extreme. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to get across the pool as fast as I can, but with the fewest number of strokes that I can take while still keeping it somewhat fluid, right? So I swim 25 meters, and I've made it across with just a pullout. That takes a lot. Takes a while. And I've made it across in 1 stroke, but in both of those cases, I have to pretty much come to a stop on every single part of the movements. And that's not what you're looking for when you're training, right? And so what I found is that for me, 2 strokes across is perfect. It really challenges me like no other to make every stroke perfect and feeling every inch of the water. But I don't come to a dead stop and have to restart, which it really disrupts all the movements. So let's take a look at what I mean by that. Here is me doing a 25 2 strokes. Okay, 1 and 2. Good. And we're going to back this up here and look at it in slow motion in just a second. Typically when I do DPS, I do it as 25s, 50s, sometimes 75s, and every once in a while 100s, but it's always 2 strokes of length. And what I'm shooting for on those is like 17 high, 18 low for a 25. About 38 for a 50, under a minute for a 75, and under 120 for 100. And almost every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday workout has some type of DPS in it, whether it's 1 or 2 25s just to like help get warmed up, or if DPS is the set. And sometimes I have practices that are just DPS, and we'll get into that in a second. But let's back this up and look at it in slow motion and dissect the hell out of it. So first things first, the push, okay? You have got to be good off your walls. There is no faster moment in your race than when you are pushing off the wall, so it has to be perfect. And what that means is you have great alignment in your body such that your body is parallel to the surface. You don't, especially for breaststrokers, this becomes a big issue with those hips and legs floating up and making you kind of inverted, creating an angle of resistance as you go through the water. And we do not want that. And what I find helpful in preventing that is really tightening up my core, sucking in those abs in such a way that I'm trying to bring my legs down, and that counteracts the float and keeps everything in line. Then you've got to hit that dolphin kick. You don't and for me, I don't want it to be a full body motion. I want it to be a little bit more from like the rib cage, lower rib cage, upper belly button down. Nice big pop, boom. And then after that, I'm riding it until I feel like I'm pretty close to coming to a stop. And as I feel that, I'm reaching out with my arms, which up until this point have been super tight, elbows really close together. And as I go into the pull down portion of my pull out, I am reaching forward, rolling my shoulders out to try and reach behind this imaginary thing out in front of me that I'm gonna pull myself over. And so I slide those hands out into position, get them ready to pull down, because when I pull down, it is a straight pull down. It's not an S shape. It's just a straight pull down. And it starts off slow, feeling the water, hooking that catch, pushing the elbows forward as the fingertips start to reach for the bottom, and then slamming down to my side right there. Everything tight to my body. And one little trick, if you don't know this already, is shrug the shoulders. If you think about it, it makes perfect sense, but it's not something that we really think about that much. The area behind your clavicle, okay, right next to your neck, that's a pretty flat spot. And hydrodynamically, that's not good because that water hits it and slows you down. And so if you can shrug those shoulders, get them close to your ears, you become more hydrodynamic and you move through the water better. There you go. Fun fact for your next party. After this second phase where you've pulled down, this is what gets a lot, this is the next thing that gets a lot of people. You don't want the elbows to flare out. You want the elbows tight to the side, tight to your rib cage. The forearms cross over each other, forming an X. And then the hands slide past your face and forward. Sometimes I slide my hands so close to my face that they kind of knock my goggles, but you need them close. And when you kick forward, for me, it's a bigger kick than what I normally do in my stroke, because you want that power to overcome the resistance of your arms going forward. And when the arms go forward, they're almost back to streamline. The only difference is hands are not on top of each other, they're side by side, but those elbows are super tight and you are trying to reach for the water. Now, here's another big thing. When you are finishing your pullout and going into your first stroke, you want to press the sternum as you slide the arms apart. That helps you lift your hips and legs and gets them higher on the surface, so that when you pop, it's a cleaner pop through the surface. You're not going through, getting stuck, kind of going through mud. And so press that sternum. I call it press to pop. And then when I pop, it's trying to get maximum height. I think about it as rearing backwards. And I know you don't want to go backwards, but just thinking of it that way helps me get high. And I don't actually go backwards, as you can see. So that when I get high and I shoot forward, I'm shooting through more air than water. I'm getting over the water as opposed to plowing through the water, and then riding that with my chest pressed, the arms reaching forward so that the hips and legs are up high, getting the most out of that stroke that I can. And then I hit it one more time into the wall, boom. So that's my DPS, but extreme. And I think that this is beneficial for every stroke. It's not just breaststroke. Obviously, it's helpful for freestyle, but it can also be very helpful for backstroke. I know, hear me out. Backstroke is arm driven. I get that. And butterfly, it's like so hard to go slow in butterfly like you would in breaststroke here. But in all of these strokes, in every case, the benefit of slowing it down so much is that you feel every ounce of the water. And for me, that benefit of knowing exactly what you're doing and having to be perfect on every motion, you can't make a mistake. You have to be so good that it just makes you such a much better swimmer, in such a way that when you're doing repeats and you're going fast, you just get lost in the rhythm and the survival of it all. and you lose sight of mistakes you're making, bad habits that you have, because it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And this slows everything down in such a way that you see all those things, you see all those mistakes, all those imperfections, but it is also so difficult. And what I mean by that is you're putting 100% effort into every single movement. The push off, the pull down, the kick forward, every single motion of the stroke, it's 100% effort. And so it's very difficult. Here are the sets that I do, a couple samples. Like I said, I do DPS every practice almost, especially Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The first one is this, very difficult, 75 DPS on 115. For me, this is a 25 meter pool, so adjust if your yards. 75 easy, just, no breaststroke, 145. 75 fast breaststroke, no DPS, just get up and go. And then 75 easy again, 145, do that 4 rounds. Here's another set, very simple, 425s DPS, 50 easy, shake it out, freestyle backstroke, whatever. 350s DPS, 50 easy, 275s DPS, 50 easy, and then 100 DPS, 50 easy. You can go through that 1 or 2 times. But I would strongly encourage you, even if you're not a breaststroker, to give it a try and go to that extreme. I was going to say the word again, but I don't want the sound effects. Go to that length and try it out. And I promise you will find things in your stroke that you did not know were there. So anyway, good luck. I hope to see you at Masters Nationals if you're a Masters swimmer, or just at whatever meet we happen to be at. Good luck with your swimming. Swim different.